First, we have Sunny Lowe, who is Google's Cloud Program Manager, who will discuss how you can increase your business's productivity using the tools available through Google Cloud Business Solutions. Following Sunny, we have our second guest speaker, Ashish Marina, who is joining us all the way from India. Ashish will provide insights on how you can optimize your organic search rankings. But before we get started, we do have a couple of our housekeeping notes. So today the webinar will be recorded and will be available to view via the AFTA website from tomorrow. So if you're wanting to share it around the office or you simply want to watch it again, you can do so via our website tomorrow. Also, just to note that all of the attendees today will be on mute, just so we won't be able to hear you or be able to speak to the presenters. And finally, we'll have time at the end of the presentations today for questions. So should you wish to ask a question, simply use the questions toolbox via your webinar panel to do so. All right, that's it from me, so I might pass over to Sunny. Thanks.
Thanks, Belinda. Good afternoon and good morning, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Sunny, and I'm the Google Cloud Program Manager. And in Google Cloud, we work with businesses like yours in the Asia Pacific region on how to leverage Google Cloud G Suite solution to improve business productivity, enhance collaboration, and drive maximum velocity. In today's presentation, I'd like to share with you a little bit more about G Suite, our productivity solution for businesses, and share some of the case studies that we have worked with our customers. So feel free to send us any live questions via the question toolbox, and we're more than happy to actually hear from you. To begin with, I'd like to introduce you to maximum velocity. Isn't this all that we are chasing, the same maximum velocity? At Google and your business, the elusive ability to move at maximum velocity, the ability to make decisions fast, the ability to build consensus quickly, and the ability to align common set of goals. We would like to have it to be done at maximum velocity. We would like to have it to be done like in a very smooth way across business, across geographies, and across different functions. We think G Suite would help companies like yours to unlock this and achieve maximum velocity, and let's see how it happens. So what separates your current course from maximum velocity? If you would look into the picture on the left-hand side, we see a sailboat moving slowly with a group of people watching a single captain steer the ship. Doesn't it look like how teams used to work 10 years ago? On the right-hand side, we're looking into like a new sailing paradigm, a hydrofoil, one that collaborates and to achieve maximum velocity towards their objective. So what we're seeing on the right-hand side is how G Suite will actually help transform your business from the traditional sailboat to a hydrofoil maximum velocity sailboat. And let's see how the magic works. So in terms of a business velocity, we're looking to three different components. The first part is the connections among people, among different teams, which is also the catalyst for change in organization. And the second part is creative ideas. Because an idea at the mind of one may be good, but it becomes a game changer when actually the whole teams actually have different ideas and run with it. When someone else punches holes into it, when R&D pushes it further, when global sales actually monetize it, when marketing names it, when an idea actually takes it live on its own, you know there's something special coming out of that creative idea. So with connections, with better connections and even more collaborative creative ideas, we're looking to how business operate when they're connected, smashing different silos, bringing different people together, accelerating the sharing, collaboration, and leaving no ideas behind. So this is how we are going to improve connection, improve the creation of innovative ideas, and eventually achieving faster speed and bigger results. And if you haven't noticed, actually your team has already begun the journey. First of all, people are connecting from places beyond the office. Your team is actually working at taxis, on the way, on buses, from coffee shops, or even across different regions or continents. And your teams are also working from many different devices. People are connecting from more devices, laptops, smartphones, tablets, and even watches. The average person will have like 3 to 5 devices, and we recognize them to be productive. We can use them to share knowledge and share assets from anywhere, anytime, and through any devices. And your team expect more from their phone than their desktop. People that are coming to the workplace now expect more from their phones. They're expecting more collaboration to be effortless. They're looking to working anytime, anywhere, via any devices that will actually help them complete different tasks. And to be productive today is to be connected. Today's team actually expect this, and that's why enterprise social network is becoming such a focus for a lot of companies. Fortune 500 companies are focusing on enterprise social networks. Smaller companies, large and small, are stressing how networks is actually important within the ecosystem. So when you want to find something out, email will never be as quick or as natural as a quick text message. As we go on, we can actually look into how G Suite are transforming the way that we communicate as well. So it's just start, but it's just enough. Working from your phone and being able to use social network at work are great advancements, but something fundamental is missing. Let's hear from some of the companies that we interviewed. So companies that have adopted the latest and the greatest tools, but have they really changed the way that they make decisions or drive consensus? The latest version of a lot of familiar tools are comfortable because they're not fundamentally different. The reality is, however, most companies is not that different from the way that they work, even with the latest update. In contrast, companies that are moving fast are changing the way that they engage employees and make decisions, not just the way they change the way they use the tools or they use the latest upgrade. What we should be doing is to rethink the right tools that will help them work in a better way. Let's look into some of our old habits. This is pretty much the model that we have been trained to use in a business sense in the last 30 years. And it's probably still the way that most of us work as well. So think about it. We go to our own PC. Let's say we launch our word processor and start a new document. And then you send it to someone as an attachment via email. And everyone uses track changes and save it as version 1.1, and then the next person will change it to version 1.2. Probably by the end of the day you have like version 5.6_final, and then they all send it back to you. And your job is basically just to merge different versions and consolidate them. Let's say someone just got it wrong, or top management thinks we need to change it again. So you finish one round, and guess what? Tomorrow you probably spend a whole day recreating the whole process again, repeat and repeat. And you probably know that it's not a very fancy process. This is a very slow and non-engaging process at all. So typically, this old process slows us down. It can even lead to death by committee problems, where having to wait for everyone's input means no one ever creates anything worthwhile or innovative. Lo and behold, there's a better way to create, think, and reason together through a connected. Think of your team having a meeting in a war room or in a separate meeting room, where we don't have any tools. We are just standing there with just whiteboards and notepads. This is where decisions can be made quickly. Brand new ideas are discovered, and guess what? Often, accidentally, we discover new innovative approaches. Our goal at Google Cloud is to create a product, G Suite, to actually imitate this kind of collaboration from anywhere. So we were going to break these 4 walls. We want to create a virtual environment where people can work, can think, can create, and reason together to achieve the same shared goals, with technology getting out of our way. So how does it look like? It's easy to imagine yourself in a meeting room, but if we're imagining ourselves in 4 different continents, how does it work? It actually looks like people creating documents or creating together in real time from wherever they are, from whatever devices that they are. It looks like teams are making decisions faster because they can reach consensus faster. It looks like people are talking face-to-face to make decisions so that you can actually see how each other's expressions or reactions to idea in real life. It also looks like a single place for the team to store everything. With our Google Drive, it looks like a single place where you don't have to deal with multiple versions. It's one source of truth that's always up to date for everyone across multiple devices. And since we are Google, of course, it's easy to search to find the information or expertise that you need. It also looks like a secure way to actually share with your collaborators. This is how we actually, you can easily extend your work ecosystem, let's say, to an outside contractor, and then easily, by changing the assets right and sharing settings, you can easily put it back when the project is over. This is how you can actually enhance different internal and external collaboration. It also looks like a team tracking their project results in real time. So no more early Monday morning meetings and look into sales figures. Everything could be done real time by just updating the figures, and the graph will actually automatically update itself. So as I mentioned, as I used the analogy of having a meeting room, what I just demonstrated, what I just introduced you all with G Suite, it looks like the software equivalent to this. So we built this G Suite productivity tool equivalent of putting everyone in a room together. Our goal isn't just to make an integrated set of tools in a cloud. It's also to create a better engagement experience for people at work. So if you make the move to Google, what is going to be different and what kind of results can you expect? Collaborations make a business stronger, more productive, and more innovative. At Google, we go one step further to say collaboration has to move you beyond productivity to reach your goals. When a project can be finished weeks instead of months because your team can actually make faster decisions, that's a big deal. You stay ahead of your competition. The second thing is that we're adding intelligence into every one of our collaboration tools to make work simpler and efficient. For example, the average person might spend over 300 minutes every month on activities relating to schedule and, of course, rescheduling meetings. We're working on creating an order of magnitude reduction in this time by applying Google's machine learning technology. You should be able to actually speak things to your calendar that communicate your intent, and your calendar should be able to actually do scheduling. So when our tool becomes smarter, every one of us is more efficient, productive, and happier. And finally, we can help your team integrate work and their life. When your team can actually replace an afternoon meeting with a hangout and therefore not miss a dinner at work with their family, that's massive. G Suite is being used by more than 5 million companies as we speak, including banks, universities, and government agencies. These are 5 million companies who have made the choice to become digital business because they recognize how the business landscape is changing. With Google, companies like ANA Group, who has teams working across multiple continents, they realize that it's critical for them to actually innovate faster, to collapse the geography restrictions, and take the best out of their all global ideas and apply them locally. Why do these people and these companies actually choose Google? Our entire focus is on creating that spirit of engagement and real-time collaborations for teams. We originally created these tools because we needed them ourselves at Google. Now we believe these tools are the core ways that Google works and really reflects our value of engagement, empowerment, and speed. We think this is the same thing that businesses around the world should be using, not just within Google itself. Our products are designed to be effortless to use. When you can take the technology out of the way, people can work better. Think about our video conferencing tool, Hangout, compared with a traditional conference call. Which one is faster? Scrolling through your email to find a conference call number, dialing in, entering your passcode, entering it again because you pressed the wrong number or the wrong button, saying your name and pressing pound key, and then listening to the elevator music. That's how traditional conference call works. But with Google Hangout, all you need to do is just click a link from your calendar invite, and instantly you're having a face-to-face conversation with your team. And when you end your Hangout or your video conferencing, you're immediately shown the rest of your day's schedule, including a link of your next Hangout. So our Google Suite productivity tools are designed to support the way people want to work together and to get out of the way otherwise. Google Cloud G Suite is also built on the largest, most secure, most scalable, and highest performance infrastructure in the world. It's the same infrastructure that powers Google Search, Ads, YouTube, our Google Maps as well. We've pioneered in a lot of different technologies that allow G Suite to run on that next generation infrastructure. Everything from the way we store data at rest to the way we push the edge of network worldwide is optimized so that every one of our G Suite user can get the same high performance, real-time experience from anywhere from the world and from any devices that they desire. And smart apps that we have also help you get back to what matters. While every company today is about leveraging the power of collaboration, most are just bringing their software into the modern era, retrofitting it with collaborative features so that teams can share their documents or group chat. However, at G Suite, we started there and we are looking to what's next. We're fanatical about finding ways to remove complexity, to use Google's intelligence and machine learning automation to make connections between people more naturally. Our machine learning intelligence are built in our tools and to help us reach our goals. Productivity isn't enough. Nobody needs a staff of hamsters running on their wheels, busier than ever. We've got our minds on the next wave of intelligence, which factors in layers of prioritization and goal-oriented planning. We want to help people spend less time worrying about the business tool and focus on their time and energy towards driving new and innovative business goals. And we have always been an internet-based company, and we understand how important security, privacy, and compliance are for you. With G Suite, we provide you with a level of security very few can match. We focus on security across the entire life cycle of the content, from the moment you type a character on your device to the time it reaches our network and how it's stored from the rest of our servers. We've spent years and a lot of time and effort into advancing and securing our infrastructures. More than 500 full-time engineers work to provide and protect your information. Security is at the core of Google's architecture, and we improve it every day. Finally, we also provide a simple, secure, and cost-effective on-ramp to our services with our Chrome and Android devices. If I were to summarize here, there are three themes that differentiate Google and Google Cloud technology. The first one is co-everything. Every one of our products are decided with the heart for team engagement and effortless real-time collaboration. And we focus a lot on 10x technology. Our infrastructure is the same modern, scalable, high-performance infrastructure that powers Search, Gmail, YouTube, and Android. And we're ready to support the 10x goals that you have to expand your business. and eventually beyond productivity. Our investments in machine learning means that we can beyond productivity, we can reach beyond productivity, smart business apps that you have never experienced before. You've already seen some of the automation, such as automated email replies on your personal Gmail, smart suggestions for meeting times, and automated chart suggestions. This is just the beginning, and we're looking to breaking the walls of productivity and changing the way how we work. Industry experts like Gartner, Forrester, TechCrunch, and many other analysts actually recognize these differentiator, as in driving a substantial benefit, having a true mobility to work from any devices and anywhere, and actually accomplish your business goals. Finally, bring it back to the first slide that I share with you all. When people are connected, they're more creative and able to make decisions faster. This means that ideas lead to transformative change for businesses in a faster way. And eventually, G Suite empowers companies to achieve the maximum velocity. Let us help you. Let us help you exercise new muscles. Let us help you create room for innovation. Let us help you embrace new mental paradigms. And let us help you take some risks, and let us help you achieve maximum velocity. Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen, for listening to my brief introduction to Google Cloud G Suite solution. I hope you enjoyed this session, and this is the end of my presentation. And following up will be Ashish, our search quality specialist at Google, who would be more than happy to share some tips and tricks to build your online presence. Thank you very much.
Thanks, Sunny. So just bear with us a minute while we give Ashish a presentation rights so he can share his screen with us. There we go. You should be up and running now, Ashish. Are you there?
Yeah, is my screen on?
Yep, you're on.
All right, good morning and good afternoon, everyone. I'm Ashish Marina. I work with the search quality team at Google. So this session is just to give you a high-level overview of how search works and some guidance on building good websites. But after this session, I'd strongly urge you to visit our website google.com/webmasters to learn more. So this session, I'm just going to give you an overview because I've just got 15 minutes. But please take a look at some detailed information in google.com/webmasters. All right. So why are we even focusing on search today? I mean, if you have this question, so I'll just keep it simple. Over 1 billion people use search for information. Over 1 billion people, we have over 1 billion users who use Google to find information online. And even if a small significant subset of these users are looking for information that you can provide, and if that's not visible on search, then both sides are losing out. Like your users can't find that valuable information, and you can't find and grow your business in this particular search aspect. By the way, just a heads up, when I say search, I mean organic search. So the ads, we consider ads non-organic. Like for example, in here you can see for the query travel agents, tourismcares.org, that's an ad which you can buy. But the flightcenter.com and the AFTA and again AFTA links at the bottom, these ones are organic and you cannot buy this, and we clearly make that distinction in search by telling you which is an ad and which isn't. All right.
Well, can I just jump in for a second? Some of our audience, they're not seeing your screen. Do you have your screen on display?
Yeah, I have.
Have? Okay. Let me just...
Okay. Is it on now?
Ah, yes, there we go. We can see it now.
Okay.
Sorry to interrupt.
I'm just trying to put it on the screen, sorry.
Perfect.
All right. So when I say search, I hope I got you till here. When I say search, I mean organic search. So the listing at the top, those are ads, and we do not consider them organic. But the listings at the bottom, those things you cannot buy, and there's no bias or any other like you cannot buy those the organic search links. So our agenda is pretty simple. I'll show you some. I'll show you how search works, and then we'll look at some simple tips for growing your online business. All right. So whenever you type a query on search, you get results instantly, right? And all of this happens in almost 1/8 of a second. So how does Google do this? Well, there are like 3 important steps. They're crawling, indexing, and ranking. And all of these 3 are different from each other. What this means for you is your level of control at each of these steps are different. So just as an example, you can block Google from crawling some of your pages, but if those pages were already crawled, then they're already that means they're already in our index and have been ranking for some time. So you just need to keep that in mind whenever you're troubleshooting any issues. All right, let's take a closer look at each of these steps. We'll start with crawling. So there are a crazy number of URLs on the web, right? There are over billions and billions of pages. But how does Google find them? Well, we use this process called crawling, where we have a bunch of crawlers which we call they're called robots, and search robot is called Googlebot. So all these crawlers go to different pages on the web, and then they'll look for links on those pages, and using those links they'll follow those links to new pages, and so on. We'll just like keep following links to keep finding new and newer pages. But if we crawl the web all at once, then obviously we clog all the. It's not very efficient on our side, and it's not very we'll sort of break the internet too. So what we do is we have some clever scheduling mechanisms which will allow us to sensibly and efficiently crawl. So what this means for you is, let's take an example. Let's say you have a website, a travel website homepage, and then you have another page called promotions. So what Google does is we'll see the homepage, and then we'll recognize the homepage as, okay, the content on this doesn't change so much, so we don't need to crawl this so regularly. Maybe we'll crawl this once in a few days. But then we'll go to the promotions page, and then we'll see that, okay, this page has like new content added every day because you keep adding new coupons and stuff. So we'll recognize that, okay, maybe this page we should crawl once a day or maybe twice a day. So based on different pages, we set our crawling systems so that we do not clog your website too. What this means from your side is you also have some control over how crawling works. So there are two simple ways I can mention now. One is if you verify your website in Search Console, and if you think Google is crawling your website too frequently, you can actually decrease the frequency of crawling using your Search Console account. And another way is, let's say you do not want Google to crawl a certain section of your website. Then there's a file called robots.txt, robots.txt. You can look that up. So using that file, you can put that file in the root of your website, and you can block Google from accessing whichever pages you do not want Google to crawl. It can either be just a design or technical decision, or it can be a privacy decision too. All right, let's look at indexing now. So we've crawled all these pages, and we've crawled billions and billions of pages, and we put all of these pages in one big index. So we do not discriminate all mobile pages or desktop pages. All of these pages go into one index. Our index is pretty big, but it's not limitless, and the web is obviously much, much bigger. That said, we also understand and index lots of different types of content like videos, images, and so on with like different degrees of success. But because our web is so much bigger and our index can only hold so much, we try to be efficient here too, so that we do not index everything. As an example, if there's some content, let's say there's a promotion on your website for a travel package, and the same travel package is given on like 5 different URLs, and there's nothing else on those URLs. So you have 5 different pages with the same content, but they're on 5 different pages, right? So we do not want all those 5 different pages to be in our index. So what we do is we index one page and we mark the other 4 pages as duplicates of this page. So we'll just have one page in our index so that we save space. Apart from this, we also annotate data. So for that promotions page, let's say, we'll also look at like how old that page is, who links to it, and what is it about. This will help us in like ranking too. And finally, we have ranking, and I'm pretty sure this is what most of you are interested about. So ranking is the part of search that's most visible, but it's the most complex too. We use over 200 signals, and it's probably higher, to figure out how best to serve a user's need. So we also take into account what we know about a particular user, if they're signed in, where they are. Of course, all of this is if they allowed us to use that information in the first place. So in fact, 2 people sitting in the same room and searching for the same query can have slightly different results. To give you an example, let's say you are in the United States and searching for travel packages. So you can just try this out. You can just go to google.com and try typing travel packages. You'll probably get some similar results, but you'll probably get some different results from what you're getting for the same query in Australia. So I just checked this before starting the session, and in the US you're probably getting sites like Orbitz and Expedia, while in Australia you're still getting Expedia, but you're not getting Orbitz. You're getting something like Flight Center and so on. So we try and tailor our results to users as much as possible. And another thing we definitely keep in mind is making sure we provide best possible results for the device that the user is using to. So the thing is, when users try searching on mobile, they expect websites that work good on mobile and that look good on mobile. So when we serve search results on mobile devices, if the web search results which are being shown are not mobile friendly, then we'd probably not want to show that, or at least we'd want to show that a little below so that we'll push the websites that are more mobile friendly on the top. So you definitely need to keep this in mind and make sure whenever you're building your websites, they work well and look well on all different devices. Okay, but for all of this to happen, Google needs to be able to access your content in the first place. So please spare a thought for the crawler, and whenever you're like building your website, make sure you're not inadvertently blocking access to Google. In fact, there are many ways for you to prevent Googlebot accessing your website by default. So even if you do not do it intentionally, there's many ways you can actually prevent Googlebot accessing your website. Like if you want to please take a note. One of the things is robots.txt configuration. So many CMSs may provide robots.txts automatically, but if there's some issue and if it blocks Google from accessing it, then you need to like just go and check if you're blocking Googlebot access. And then there's other things like server configuration and also blocking resources, blocking Google from accessing certain resources. So let's say you have a website and you're building it for both desktop and mobile. On desktop it looks good, but on mobile, because you used JavaScript and CSS to design it well so that it looks good on mobile, Google also needs to be able to access those JavaScript and CSS resources so that it can render the page properly on mobile too. So only when we render that page, we'll understand, okay, this page looks good on mobile too, and we can show that in mobile search results. But let's say you block Google from accessing it, then we'll consider that page as not mobile friendly, and you may not rank as high on mobile as desktop. So to summarize, make sure your robots.txt is not blocking Google. Make sure you're not blocking any resources from Google being able to access them, and make sure you check your server configuration to see if any firewall or any IP ranges are being blocked. Okay, one other thing you can also use to see in general if there's any issues with your crawling is, again, you can verify your website in Search Console. You can find that at google.com/webmasters. Once you verify your site in Search Console, on the dashboard, you can see if there are any possible errors and if Google is finding it hard to access your website. And another feature in Search Console is a feature called Fetches Google. So if you're not sure if Google is able to access a certain URL, you can just put that URL under the Fetches Google search box, and Google will try to fetch that and give back the status to you on if we can fetch it or if we can't fetch it. And if we can't fetch it, what's the problem? Okay, so like especially for travel sites, your content probably gets updated regularly. You keep updating on promotions like new travel packages and so on. So in that particular case, if you keep adding new travel packages and new promotions and so on, the best way to keep search engines informed, not just Google but any search engine informed of these changes, is to create a sitemap and keep it up to date. So sitemap is nothing but just a file where you sort of annotate and link all the URLs on your website. So you can create a sitemap for users too, not just search engines, and you can just sort of link all the important pages on your website. So with most modern CMSs like WordPress and Joomla and so on, like sitemaps are automatically provided to you. You just need to remember to check it if it's there in the first place. This is actually one of the best ways to keep Google informed of your new stuff. You can also, of course, there's other things like RSS feeds and so on. You can always look that up. Okay, so that pretty much covers the basics of how search works. Again, please go to google.com/webmasters or type in how search works. There's a link called Inside Story where you can take a look at all that I've said in more detail. All right, now let's jump into some tips for your online business. So considering how we talked about how important search is, one of the most important tips I'm going to give you is, first, make sure you're already on Google. So make sure your content is visible on Google. So one of the simplest ways you can do that is, if you're seeing my screen, just type in the site colon operator. So you can just type in site colon and then type in your web address, and you'll be able to see all the links that are indexed under this particular web address. So if there are no links that are showing up under this web address, that means Google is not has not indexed them or crawled them. I mean, maybe they have crawled them, but they have not indexed them. Number two, please think about your users. So for pretty much everyone, users are the end goal, your customers are the end goal. You create your site for your users, so you always need to keep them in mind when building your website. Visitors to your site will have different needs based on who they are, where they're from, what they're trying to do, and so on. So if you focus on figuring this out at the very beginning, then it will make things a lot easier for you, and you can plan the structure and content of your site accordingly. if you have the time, you can even get some users and try to do user studies on your website. So you can check with your users on okay, if you want to search for promotions on my website, are you able to find it? And you can see if he's able to find it, and if he's not, then you can take a look at what's going wrong with your website and fix that. Okay, number 3, everything you use on your site needs to be tracked and measured. So of course you also need to let the users know that it's being done so, but especially for travel sites, you'll probably have lots of forms, lots of phone numbers, and some packages that the people purchase and so on. So whenever users complete a form, or maybe use the phone, make a phone call, or maybe buy something, you can track all that data using tools like Google Analytics and Search Console. So if you can see the links below, please go to them, and if you can, just verify your account there. You can also check on, let's say you have a particular resource on your website, a certain promotion. You can also see how successful that promotion was by checking how many times users visited that resource, how long they were on, if they clicked and went, if they clicked and actually bought something from that, and so on. So tools like Google Analytics and Search Console make these things a lot easier. In fact, in Search Console, you can also track your keywords. You can see for what queries you're ranking well and for what queries you aren't. And even for your URLs, you can see what are the top ranking URLs for your website and for what queries they're ranking. And if you think a certain query you're not ranking as well, then you can go back and check and fix those things. And another tool you can also use to just get a general overview of your industry is to use this Google Trends, google.com/trends. So you can check, let's say you're trying to provide a promotion for a certain holiday package in Sydney or so on. So you can check for those particular queries, what's the general interest, what time does the interest peak, and what time does the interest go low, and so on. Of course, finally, we have we've spoken about this, but this is very important. From the very beginning, when you're building your website, or if you're trying to redesign your website, make sure you're building for all devices. So because your users are from everywhere, you can't keep guessing. So you need to make sure your websites, your content looks good on all devices. Like it looks good on phones, looks good on tablets, it looks good on even TVs too. So one of the simplest ways you can do that is by using this responsive design. There are other ways called alternate websites, and there are other ways, I think alternate websites, and there's one other way. But yeah, responsive design is what I'd recommend. So if you're not sure, you can speak to your SEO or someone who's designing your website, and make sure your website looks good on all devices. So that's it from me. To summarize, just make sure first, whenever you're building your website, you keep your users in mind and make sure your site looks good on all devices, and make sure Google can actually access your content, because if we can't access your content, we can't show your content. So thank you for attending the session. If you have any questions, please go ahead and ask them.
Well, thank you, Ashish. That was a really great insight into some of the technical background for how Google scans your website that affects your search ranking. So we do have some time now with both of the speakers. If you'd like to ask any questions for either Sunny or Ashish, please send through your questions through the chat tool, the question tool, and we can get the guys to answer you. But also, if you'd like, following the webinar, we will be sending out a survey, and in the survey, if you provide permission to share your contact details with Google, they'll also be able to send you some information post the webinar. So please make sure you do that if you're wanting to get some more information on G Suite and understand the tools available a little bit better. So we'll just wait for a second and see if anyone's going to type in a question. But Sonny, I might ask you, if many of our travel agents are small to medium business size, if they don't have Gmail or aren't aware of Google or don't currently use it, how is the best way for a small business to access the Google Drive? Do they open an account, or how would they go about doing that?
That's a very great question, Melina. So we actually work with not just with large companies, we work with companies large and small, because we believe that Google Cloud solution and Magic will actually benefit a lot of different companies. So as for smaller, as for let's say for our audience, travel agencies who currently do not have a business email, I would highly recommend them to actually get started with G Suite. You can always learn more about our G Suite solutions on gsuite.google.com. So this is where you can actually register for a free trial, or you can actually learn more about the product itself, or substantially you can also fill in the survey and allow us to actually reach out to you so that we can actually discuss in depth some of the challenges or some of the pain points that your organization or your team is actually facing.
Great, easy. We haven't had any questions come through, but please don't be shy. Just type into the questions toolbox and we can answer them here for you. I'll make a quick reminder as well. If you're following the Google series, we do have our next webinar scheduled for Wednesday the 26th at the same time as 12 p.m. Next week. It will be on understanding travel industry and trends. So if you'd like to register for that, there are still a few positions available or spots available. So just jump onto our AFTA website and register for the next webinar. Well, it looks like that's it. We haven't had any questions come through. So thank you to both Sunny and Ashish for your presentation today. As I mentioned, we will be recording it. We'll have it available to view on our website tomorrow at afta.com.au. And we look forward to speaking with you next time.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you for joining us.